Victor retired at 52 with 2.3 million in assets and zero debt. He did not inherit money. He did not win anything. What he had was one decision, made at age 29. Almost nobody around him understood that decision at the time. This video works backward through every fork in that road, every number, every moment where he could have gone the other way. By the end, you will see exactly where you are standing right now. The year is 2024. He wakes up at 7:14 without an alarm. His phone shows a deposit notification, $380, that came in overnight. He did not work for it. He did not send an invoice. It arrived because of a system he built over 19 years. That deposit is one of 4 that will arrive this week. Combined for the week, $1,587. Combined for the month, $11,400. Combined for the year, $136,800. And he is 52 years old. Not 72. Actually, genuinely, deliberately retired at 52. Now let's go backward. 2019. Victor is 47. The business is generating $6,200 a month. 2 part-time remote contractors. His overhead is $340 a month. That is it. No office, no inventory, no payroll taxes on 15 employees. He spends 9 hours a week on it. The rest of his time is his. He is not rich yet. But he is free in a way most people his age are not even close to. Go back further. 2014. Victor is 42. The business makes $1,900 a month. He almost quit that year. In February, he had one bad month. $640 total. He stared at his bank account on the 14th, thinking this was a mistake. He did not quit. He made one adjustment, changed who he was targeting, and by June he was back to $1,900. That adjustment took him 4 hours. 4 hours that saved 19 years of compounding growth. Go back further? 2009. Victor is 37. He has been running the business for 7 years. It makes $580 a month consistently. He does not think of it as a business yet. He calls it a side thing. His wife thinks it is a hobby. His brother-in-law thinks he is wasting weekends. He makes $58,000 a year at his job. Not bad. And the $580 feels small. But $580 a month is $6,960 a year. And that money, reinvested, quietly growing, that is the root system of the 2.3 million. He does not know that yet. Nobody told him. Go back further. 2005. Victor is 33. He has been running it for 3 years. It makes $190 a month. He almost feels embarrassed about it. He does not tell coworkers. He does not post about it. $190 a month seems like nothing. But $190 a month is $2,280 a year. And the habit of building it, the skill of building it, that is worth more than the 190. Because the 190 becomes 580, and the 580 becomes 1,900, and the 1,900 becomes 6,200. Every single step was just the previous step scaled slightly. Go back further. 2002. Victor is 29. This is the fork. This is the decision. He is sitting at a kitchen table, a rental apartment kitchen, and he has $0 in savings. He has $4,200 in credit card debt at 22% APR, a job he does not hate but does not love, and someone, a person he barely knows, mentions something in passing, a way to create something once and get paid for it repeatedly. Not a pyramid scheme, not an investment, not a business loan, a model where the work happens once and the payment keeps arriving. Victor does not fully understand it yet, but he writes it down. 2 weeks later, he starts. He does not quit his job. He does not take out a loan. He spends $0 to start. He spends 3 hours on a Saturday. That is the entire beginning. Now here is what that model actually is, and why almost nobody in their 20s and 30s finds out about it until it is too late. The $0 business model is built on one principle: create value once, distribute it infinitely, and charge for access repeatedly. Here's what it looks like in practice. A person writes a guide, 40 pages, on something specific they already know. something that took them years to figure out. They sell that guide for $27. They sell it to 40 people in the first year. That is $1,080. Not impressive, but the guide still exists. Year 2, same guide, maybe updated once, sells to 80 people, $2,160. Year 3, 140 people, $3,780. By year 5, that guide generates $7,000 a year with almost zero additional work. The work happened in year 1. The money arrives in years 2 through 20. That is the model. It scales without proportional effort, and it starts at $0. Now here is where most people stop. They think, I don't know enough about anything to teach it. That thought is wrong, and it is wrong in a specific, measurable way. The person who needs to learn something does not need an expert with 30 years of experience. They need someone who learned it 6 months ago, someone who can explain it in plain language. That gap between knowing nothing and knowing something is where the product lives. Think about what you knew 6 months ago that you don't know now. Think about what you figured out in the last 2 years. Most people around you still haven't figured that out. That is the product. It is already inside you. It has not been packaged yet. Now here's the part that separates the people who do this from the people who mean to do this. The people who do it pick one format and start. They do not wait until they feel ready. They do not wait until they have a logo or a website or a business plan. They pick one format and produce one thing. Not a course with 47 lessons, not a podcast with 200 episodes. One thing. 30 pages. Or a 45-minute audio. Or a 12-minute video. One thing that answers one specific question for one specific type of person. That is the beginning. Victor's first product was a 31-page PDF. He wrote it in 3 Sundays. He sold it for $19. He sold 11 copies in the first 2 months. That is $209 before taxes. Not impressive. But here is what happened next, and this is the part nobody tells you. Those 11 people told him exactly what else they needed. They emailed him. They asked follow-up questions. He listened to every single question. The next product he made answered those questions. That second product sold 34 copies in the first 2 months at $24. That is $816. Combined with the first, he was generating $1,025 in the first 6 months from 2 PDFs, written in his apartment on Sundays. Now, here is someone who did not start at 29. Meet Denise. Same income as Victor, $58,000 a year. Same city, same credit card debt. She found out about this model at 44. A coworker mentioned it. She thought about it for 8 months before starting. Her first product sold 9 copies at $22. That is $198. She is building the same system, the same curve, but she is starting 16 years later. Victor's system at year 16 was generating $6,200 a month. Denise's system at year 16 will generate roughly the same, but she will be 61, not 45. She will have roughly 4 working years left before traditional retirement age, not 20. The system is identical. The starting age is not. This is the math nobody runs. Most people think about what they will make in year 1. Victor made $209 in year 1. By that standard, failure. But that is the wrong calculation entirely. The right calculation is, what does year 12 look like if I start today versus 4 years from now? 4 years of delay, at Victor's growth rate, is the difference between $6,200 a month and $3,100 a month at the same point in time. Delay does not just push the timeline, it cuts the compounding. Every year you wait is not a neutral year, it is a subtraction. Here is the actual math. Victor's revenue doubled roughly every 3.2 years, $190 per month in year 3, $580 in year 7, $1,900 in year 12, $6,200 in year 17, $11,400 in year 22. That doubling rate, 3.2 years, is the result of consistent, modest effort, about 4 hours a week. Not 40, 4. The 3.2-year doubling rate is actually conservative compared to what some people achieve, but it is the honest number, based on people who started small, stayed consistent, and did not blow it up chasing speed. Now here is the most important number in this entire video. The cost to start? $0. Not $500. Not $2,000 for a course on how to build a course. 0. The tools available today: free document editors, free distribution platforms, free email list tools up to 500 subscribers. Remove every financial barrier. Victor spent $0 to start in 2002 because he used what was available then. You have more available now. The barrier is not money. It never was money. The barrier is the belief that you need to be more ready than you currently are. You do not need to be more ready. You need to be started. Let's talk about the 3 forks Victor hit, because you will hit the same ones in the same order. Knowing they are coming is the difference between getting through them and quitting on the other side. Fork 1. The $190 moment. This is when you are making something, but it feels embarrassingly small. The number does not feel worth mentioning. You compare it to your salary and feel foolish. This fork is where most people quit. Not because the system is broken, it is not, but because the number is smaller than expected. The correct response to this moment is not to quit and not to scale aggressively. Make one small improvement and wait 90 days. Just one. Better title. Different audience. One extra page of content. Then wait 90 days and measure. Fork 2. The bad month. Victor had $640 in February 2014 after years of $1,900 monthly. This is the test. Every system that compounds has a bad month, a bad quarter, a stretch where it feels like the whole thing is sliding backward. The bad month is not a signal that the system is broken. It is a signal that one variable changed and needs to be identified. Victor identified his in 4 hours, changed who he was targeting. Revenue recovered by June. The fork here is whether you treat the bad month as information or as a verdict. Information leads to adjustment. A verdict leads to quitting. Fork 3. The invisibility phase. This is the stretch, usually years 2 through 5, where nobody around you takes it seriously. Your partner thinks it is a hobby. Your friends do not ask about it. Your coworkers do not know it exists. This fork is the longest one. And it requires the most internal clarity, because there is no external validation to keep you going. The only thing that keeps you going is the compounding math, and your belief that the math is real. The math is real. 190 becomes 580 becomes 1,900. That is not a theory. That is Victor's actual numbers across 17 years. Now, back to Polly. Polly is somewhere in this timeline right now. Maybe he has not started yet. Maybe he started something and hit fork 1 and quietly stopped. Maybe he is in the invisibility phase and losing confidence. Wherever Polly is, the next decision is the same one Victor made in 2002, at a kitchen table, with $4,200 in credit card debt, 0 savings, 0 certainty. Not a big decision, not a dramatic decision, a small one. Pick one thing you know. Pick one format, spend one Sunday, produce one thing, price it at $19 or $24 or $27, send it to 10 people you think might want it, see what they say. That is it. That is the entire beginning. The business that generates $11,400 a month does not begin with $11,400 thinking. It begins with $19 thinking. One product, one Sunday, one sale, and then another. And then another, until the number that arrives on your phone on a Tuesday morning, without you touching anything, starts to feel normal, and then it grows past normal. And then one day you realize you are standing at the end of Victor's timeline, looking back at all the forks. Every single one felt impossible in the moment and obvious in hindsight. You are at one of those forks right now. The question is not whether the model works. It works. The math is documented. The timeline is real. Victor's numbers are real. The question is whether you start this week, this Sunday, or whether you keep waiting for a version of yourself that feels more ready. that version is not coming. The version of you that is ready is the version that starts before feeling ready. Victor was not ready in 2002. He was in debt, in a rental kitchen, barely understanding what he was about to do. He started anyway. And 19 years later, his phone showed $380 at 7:14 in the morning without an alarm. The only question left is what your Sunday looks like this week. This is not a complicated system. It is not a secret that requires years of study to understand. It is a repeatable pattern that has worked for people across dozens of industries, dozens of income levels, dozens of starting points. The common thread is not talent. It is not connections. It is not even intelligence. It is starting date. The people who started earlier have more. Not because they are better, because compounding had more time to work. You have today. That is the only starting date that is still available to you. Use this Sunday.